Hamas and Fatah, the twin terror groups that represent the Palestinian people in the land of Israel west of the River Jordan, are cooperating on a project for intimidating and embarrassing Israel on May 15th. The date is the 63rd Gregorian calendar anniversary of the Declaration of the State of Israel in 1948. Dr. Zakara al-Egha, member of the PLO Executive Committee, said Monday that a joint Fatah-Hamas committee for marking the 63rd Nakba Day that had been formed and that the negotiations were underway with all the nationalist and Islamic forces in order to carry out a joint central action on the day. The plans reportedly include mass marches toward Israel from all of the countries surrounding it by Arabs and foreign sympathizers. Nakba, or disaster, is what the Palestinian Authority Arabs call the establishment of the Jewish state, which occurred despite a concerted Arab attempt to kill the Jews in Israel. An internet campaign dubs the event the Third Intifada, or uprising. Egypt is worried by the plans, according to a report on PA news agency Ma'an. It has raised the level of alert of its army and beefed up its forces in northern Sinai and the borders with Gaza and Israel in preparation for May 15. Nationalist Egyptians organizing through Facebook are reportedly preparing to leave Al-Arish May 14th and head toward Israel by land and on the sea. Egypt is preparing to close off all entrances to northern and southern Sinai in advance of this. This is the third report on the Third Intifada March that I've done. As stated, this originally started out on Facebook and has grown internationally. It should also be noted that the uprising will take place in conjunction with the Turkish-led flotilla that will begin its voyage toward Gaza in a matter of days. This will be a dangerous time for Israel, but it is unlikely that it would spread to war unless the nations represented by the people became involved. Between now and then, I look for a lot of prophecy watchers to attempt to connect this march as the coming Psalm 83 war. I don't see this march raising the level to this magnitude, although you can bet the Israeli military forces and police will be on high alert. Certainly there will be rioting and an attempt to muster an Egyptian-style unrest. Their main goal will be to see as many supposedly unarmed protesters killed by Israeli forces as possible, which surprisingly will be the same goal of the flotilla. This is a no-win situation for Israel and will serve to further fuel international anger toward them. In other developments, Hamas and Fatah have signed an agreement to reunite as one Palestinian people. After the signing, Hamas said that they would continue to honor their unofficial ceasefire agreement with Israel. Frankly, I believe this is nothing more than an international propaganda scheme to convince the world that Hamas is willing to be a peace partner with Israel. As they see it, with Hamas no longer a threat to Israel, peace can be established, and now with a united Palestinian state. This is what I see for the future. A reunified Fatah and Hamas will seek the recognition of a Palestinian state along pre-1967 borders through the UN. The May 15th Intifada March and Gaza Flotilla will draw a tremendous amount of anti-Israel international press who will portray Israel as occupiers who have no excuse for not allowing the creation of a Palestinian state. I don't think there's any chance that this will be a peaceful, non-violent uprising. I fully expect that the protesters will purposely attempt to incite violence and inflict as many deaths of their own as possible. One thing the previous Middle East uprisings have proven: the higher the civilian body count, the quicker the international community rushes in to condemn or respond to those inflicting the casualties. The protesters can only hope that this revolt will elicit a Libyan-style response against Israel. I don't know if it will raise the bar to this level, but I certainly would not count it out. In the end, I believe it will eventually force Israel back to the negotiating table, where they will have no other choice but to recognize a Palestinian state within pre-1967 borders, allow for some refugee right of return, and give away East Jerusalem as the Palestinian capital. It has been just reported Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has for the second time in a month postponed any further new East Jerusalem construction. Netanyahu is expected to visit the United States at the end of the month, prompting the assumption that the latest measure aims to avoid embarrassment during the visit. In his speech to Congress, he is expected to lay out his plans going forward to establish peace with the Palestinians and to create a Palestinian state. This is Terry Malone with the Calvary Prophecy Report.